This is the Snarketing Podcast for marketers by marketers talking to marketers with just a touch of snark. Now, here are your hosts, Valerie Vespa and Matt Wurst.
I know you want me to do the intro.
You know, I always love when you start things off because it catches me off guard, but I kind of had a feeling that you were going to steal that thunder this time. And I'm glad that you did, because you always keep me on my toes. You keep our listeners on their toes, and if they, are sitting down, then on the edge of their butts. But I am just happy to see you again. We took a few weeks off, so welcome to you, our listeners. Welcome to the Snarketing Podcast. Welcome back, Valerie.
What is your name?
I'm Matt Wurst. If people don't know me by now, then they got a problem.
And I'm Valerie Vespa.
I mean, I know we have to do this, but do other podcasters introduce themselves every time? We're 40 episodes into this.
I know.
Can we just cut that part out and save some time?
I think so. I really do.
Okay.
I don't think Jason Bateman ever announces who he is.
I don't think he does either, but I also wasn't on Silver Spoons.
Fair point. You should have been, though.
I did have a few great yet disappointing appearances on game shows. That was the extent of my TV experience. We can talk about that on another episode if we ever have a reason to. But we have a lot to catch up on in a very short period of time because we are packing our bags. We are heading to Possible. This episode is dropping when we are at Possible. So hello, Possible people. How's everyone doing at Possible?
Which sounds like a very large portion of the media ad tech marketing.
I heard 4,000 people. Do you know 4,000 people? I don't know 4,000 people.
I know, and I feel like it was half of that last year. So it's definitely going to be a different beast for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for it. And if you're listening to this, hopefully we've already met if you're there. And if not, we'll fill you in on how great it was and what you missed out on when you weren't there.
I know.
But it's going to be great. Let's make something else impossible possible, because getting today's guest was, she is amazing and
big job.
But someone I know her-ish, but I've also kind of secretly wanted to become friends with her, and I recently have, and I feel like that was another thing that was impossible that I made possible, only because I'm kind of starstruck when I'm around her and I act weird. So can you do me a favor, Valerie, when we're talking to her, if I start to act weird or weirder than normal, can you just be just tell me to stop peacocking? Because that's kind of what I'll probably do.
You do overspeak when you're nervous.
Is that what's happening now? Am I nervous? How do I do this? What do I do with my hands? I don't know what to do. I feel like we're unprepared. What do we do now?
Oh, no, Matt.
No, she'll be great, but can you just kind of
I'll give you a stein.
Yeah.
I'll tap my nose 3 times.
Okay, Carol Burnett. Perfect. That sounds great. But there's a reason why we were excited to have her, and there's a reason why I am slightly nervous. It's because she's kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah,
Robyn you said she has a big job, but think of all that they've already accomplished, right? This is, when you look at holding companies in our industry, as far as the way agencies and technology platforms have come together, they've emerged a little bit later, yet some of their brands, some of their companies are the bee's knees. They win all the awards. So there's a lot to dig in with her and talk about. Is there anything
I would imagine it's a big differentiator when, going up against big holdcos to pitch brands, they have a really good story to tell, right?
Yeah, I'm sure the hardest part for them is saying no to people without burning bridges, because everyone wants to work with them.
Bandwidth. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's 70, 80. I don't know. I lost count. I used to be able to. I had that chart. That had all the companies.
The
yes. I don't have that up on my wall here at the moment, but they've built a brand. Right, they build brands for others, but they've built their own brand, and they have a beach, and they have all their great things.
Well, now that you're saying that, it's actually so brilliant, because I always kind of wondered, wow, they took up so much of a footprint at Cannes, but why not in any other place would you want to show your brand in the most prolific way possible, but at an event where brands are and you're trying to pitch them? on your
Well, and I think
capabilities.
I saw it at CES, and we can ask Robyn about this, but like I think they're expanding, right? Like
Yeah.
the sport beach at this
Yeah, because it's
intersection of
working.
culture is
Because it's
yeah.
working.
So all
Anyway,
right. So speaking of working, let's start working and get to the hard questions with an amazing guest.
I can't wait.
Let's say hello to Robyn Freye, the Chief Growth Officer for North America at Stagwell. For any fans of this podcast, or marketing for that matter, Stagwell's ascendance to the top of the advertising world is no accident. Robyn and team are not just drivers of growth, but they are builders of brands and culture. But for a network like Stagwell, with 80-plus companies and agencies, it's much more than just pitching and winning business. But let's not spoil the big reveal, and let's instead welcome Robyn, Valerie, and Matt.
Hi, Robyn, and welcome to the Snarketing podcast. We are super appreciative that you're here, but I'm also actually excited. It goes beyond appreciation because you're a guest that I think doesn't really need an introduction, although that was just a great introduction. But everybody knows you, everybody loves you, but I think we want to get a little deeper with you. Can we do that?
Oh, please. And thank you so much for having me. I'm such a huge fan of this podcast and I love the snarkiness. So I hope we can just have a real snarky conversation today.
We will do our best. I don't think it will be a challenge, but let's dig in because and we'll start with the easy stuff. We'll work our way up to the hard stuff. Can we do that?
Yeah.
All right. So Stagwell, everybody knows it. It's not, you're doing your job, right? There is no challenge with awareness or consideration, but it's not your average holding company. And look, I have an agency background. I never got to work with you, but like, you're kind of the cool cousin that shows up to the family reunion in designer sneakers and actually knows what TikTok is, right? Yeah. So what drew you to this place? And more importantly, how do you explain what you do to your 9-year-old daughter?
Oh my goodness. Okay, great question. So let's start with like what pulled me to Stagwell. I think honestly, just the opportunity to build something. I mean, most holding companies are, managing decline and we're building momentum. And I wanted to help define what, a modern agency network could actually look like. Several of our competitors, and I love them dearly because they make us better, right? And they challenge us, but I believe they're trying to turn a cruise ship around in the Hudson River, and we're like the speedboat that's like already looped the Statue of Liberty twice and we're picking up passengers and heading full throttle to like the next opportunity. And I just think that that's, really cool to be doing and helping to transform our industry. How do I explain my role to my 9-year-old daughter? That is a great question. I feel like I should use a Taylor Swift analogy, but I don't.
Well, you know your audience then, so there you go. That you've already one for one.
Maybe it's like, how when someone builds a company, they just needs, building anything, they need someone to help them grow. Like that's me. Like I connect the dots between agencies and clients and opportunities and, help turn introductions into long-term relationships.
Maybe you're like Selena Gomez, or she started like a sustainable cosmetic brand, but she couldn't do that alone. Yes, it's her name, she's the face, but she has a slew of people supporting her, right? Like that's what Stagwell, like you purpose, the people, and
or maybe you're like Sabrina Carpenter because you had this incredible career, but you actually picked it up an even bigger. I mean, should we just keep doing this? I mean, I think your 9-year-old daughter will be impressed with all of us now.
I feel like there's also like something there about decoding pitch drama, like it's reality television, right? Like, I mean, unofficially, it's like I basically get paid to make chaos look intentional, right? Like we have 85 agencies, like that. It's a lot. So yeah, maybe that will be our follow-up conversation where we each assign celebrities to what we do. We'll reframe the question.
So let's see here. You have been working for some of the biggest names in marketing.
That's an epic run, by the way. That's like a who's who of.
So impressive. So was there a moment where you realized, yeah, I'm good at this whole growth thing and my next title will be growth in it?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great things about our industry and it keeps transforming. But like, I mean, WPP like showed me scale and structure, which is super, super important. Like the machine that they have built, as well as Publicis, RGA and Pereira and Odell, like gave me that entrepreneurial mindset that really like helps me to survive in this current role at Stagwell and really just the industry at large. But I do reflect a lot back on the days that I spent as a search consultant, because I was running reviews. I was like sitting across from the CMO and procurement leads and learning exactly like what clients are looking for. And honestly, where agencies were falling short, like I would sit there and cringe in my seat where I was watching like these agencies and these pitches just like making like really stupid mistakes. So I mean, I saw a lot of presentations and RFPs from both like holding companies and agencies during that time. And I feel like that's what gave me, I mean, I don't know if it's an edge, but more of just like a deep appreciation for like how decisions are made, and also like a genuine love for procurement. And I know that sounds like super weird, but like I love procurement, and they are such an important like stakeholder and what's going on in our industry right now.
Well, they get a bad rap. I mean, they have an important job, right? They're in many ways the gatekeeper, but the gatekeeper to determine who gets into the party sometimes, right? Now, so they're the bouncer. I don't know. Maybe we can make them cooler than they probably even need to be. And they're not always that big and strong. But look, I've been a part of big agencies and holding companies too, and I've worked on both sides, right? You acquire and you try and pull these companies in without losing their culture and their identity. And there are a lot of processes, politics, people, right? Other P words I'm sure I could alliterate if I thought long and hard enough. But the holding company model works for a lot of reasons. Yet, as you said, Stagwell seems to be rewriting that narrative. For some reason, you're in the Hudson River. I'm not sure why. Maybe you're trying to go to New Jersey. But like, what is the actual secret? Is it you've seen all these bad PowerPoints and now you're like, let's focus on actual outcomes?
Yeah. First off, I hate PowerPoint. Like I love to say like PowerPoints often have no power and no point. And I don't like, it's like, what are we doing here? Right. Like that's, again,
why am I staring at this screen with a bunch of visuals?
They say that with love. Like Microsoft is a huge client of ours. Like my CEO is a former chief product officer of Microsoft.
We can edit this out. Don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. It's cool.
We don't have to, because I mean, it's kind of like death by the PowerPoint, but like, and also I don't even like the term holding company, right? Like that seems like something that needs to fall away in this new kind of era.
Okay, so educate. What? Let's rebrand it right now. What do you prefer?
Oh my gosh. That's hard. I mean, we're an accelerator, right? But I don't think that you can say like that. I don't know if that term goes well with it, but we're an accelerator for talent, creativity, and business growth. Like our job is to fuel, not control. And I feel like holding company just sounds like we're trying to control our 85 agencies. And that's also what makes us so different. Like 70% of our agencies still have the founders at the helm of them, right? Like there's a very entrepreneurial spirit that happens at Stagwell because the cultures are there.
Well, right? You got to hold on to talent. Maybe that's what it means.
Yeah. So I don't have the answer for that, but I do know I just don't like the term holding company.
Okay. All right.
It feels like a prison almost, like that name. So let's talk collaboration. You've worked across like 70 plus agencies in the Stagwell network. Like, what's your trick for getting all of those creative brains to play well together?
Oh my goodness, I know, and we're up to 85 agencies now, right? So because we're scaling globally. I it's not easy, and I don't think any growth person, whether you are at an independent agency and trying to wrangle different departments, or you have my role at another holding company, like it's like conducting an orchestra. And it's like if that orchestra were like full of rock stars who all wanted to do solos, like it's not easy. But like what I will say is when you get it right, it's magic, and it makes like that pain like all worth it. And then when that magic is on rinse and repeat is when you win.
That's amazing.
It's interesting that you use the word orchestra, because when we were thinking about terms like 2 minutes ago, the word orchestrator literally came into my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if that's actually a noun, but did I just make it up? But you're a conductor, whatever it is. We're collaborating now. Here we go. But
Yeah.
so okay, we can call it a modern agency. I don't know whatever that term means to you. You're in this sea of other fish where you have in-house teams and consultancies, and now I'm building AI tools, and you've got the ghost of Don Draper somewhere in the closet. But like the modern agency in this ecosystem is evolving, it is transforming. Do you have a vision for where you think it will be in fill in period of time here, number of years?
You know, I don't think I can predict the future, but what I can say is that everything is moving so fast right now with AI, faster than we've ever seen our industry, ever transform. So this time next year, when we have like our 1 year reunion on this podcast, I think we're going to look back and like say like, holy shit, like look at where we were like last year. But really for all of us, the value lies in agility and creativity and the speed to market, right? So it's not about being afraid. It's more about being like faster and smarter, so that you can really help to shape what the industry is going to look like moving forward.
So there seems to be a ton of pitches going on right now, and I'm interested to kind of hear from
Mm.
you. Like when a client, for example, says I'm agency agnostic, is that like where you go in for a kill? Like, is that where you completely roll your eyes? Like, what are you entering every pitch that like exists like throughout the year, or are you very calculated about how you go about that process?
You have to be calculated about how you go through the process, because otherwise you're just going to lose. And that goes back to the search consultant days. And I think a lot of agencies think they can do everything, but I always encourage our agencies to stay in their lane and focus on their superpower, because there is always going to be somebody that is a specialist. I do roll my eyes when I hear like agency agnostic, because it can kind of come off like lazy, right? Being agnostic shouldn't mean like who's ever cheapest. Like it should be like who's best for this challenge. Last year, I saw, and I should say my team saw over 1,100 RFPs cross our desk at the center of Stagwell. And we went for a lot of them. We needed to decline a lot of them. And we have a lot of specialty agencies in our portfolio as well. But it's just like really knowing like, can we actually win this? Because pitches are expensive, right? And they take you away from your current client's work. That should be what you're actually focused on.
Right.
I mean, I'm just impressed that you can keep track of 80 plus different like agency specialties, right? From, I don't know, Gale's personalization to Anomalies, culture shaping campaigns, and 72 and Sunny's big brand executions. Like there's range there, but
Yeah.
from your time and from, I mean, not that you're going to play favorites, but how do you prioritize where you invest? Are you like more in with some without naming names? How do you do that?
I mean, a lot of it goes to I can't give our secret sauce away, but a lot of it goes to, like our growth strategy at the beginning of the year, right? And going back to being like nimble and agile, like being able to pivot when, things are changing around you that you can't control, right? So even with the tariffs, that is really impacting a lot of our clients' business. And so we follow the heat with that, right? Like there's a lot of opportunity for us to be working on, like igniting our communications teams right now, and like all of the background that we have in navigating politics and crisis communications and things like that. So we really follow the heat, not the agencies. It's like where our clients are asking, where the talent is thriving, and then also like where we have momentum. Like it's not about equal time. It's not about, we have shiny stars in our portfolio. We have Anomaly, we have 72 and Sunny, we have Crispin, we have Gale. Like there's so many great things in our portfolio, but it's really about impact.
What recent work has made you want to stand on your desk and shout, yes, this is why we do this? Is there any sort of work you can speak to? Any? Any recent?
It is recent, but anything we've done for the ad council, and I say that for the industry at large, because so much of what we do, and that's like my favorite dinner, the prom for all of the agents.
The only time I get to
Our
wear a
brand.
tuxedo anymore.
I know. People aren't even wearing tuxedos to that anymore. Like we need to like get back on the dress code for that one. But anything that industry's done for the ad council, like I think back to Crispin's work with like the dead body bags, like anything that we've done for the Truth Initiative. We're going to be launching some really powerful work around in conjunction with the ad council around mental health. But I even think back to like when I was at RGA, like the Love That Has No Labels work. All of that stuff just like makes me get out because it makes it purposeful, right? Like we have a voice and we can make an impact and a change in the world, and it doesn't always need to be pharmaceutical advertising and beer and automotive. Like there's a lot of great things that we can do for both our industry, for the brands, and for people.
Well, if the ad council dinner is the second hardest event to get into every year, I think the hardest is probably Stagwell Beach and Camp. So let's just be honest. You've built this brand. You build brands for others, but you've built this brand for yourself, which is, I don't know if it's impressive. It's like, I can't comprehend it sometimes because it's just like not, it's just not what others do. It's not this vacation destination, sadly, although as much as I would love to live at Stagwell Beach, 3 months out of the year, I would. But it's probably the one thing over the last 5 years that I'm like, God, I wish I was involved with this somehow, other than just being a frequent attendee who waves at the back. But like, how are you using this to expand your dominance and win these pitches and retain this business that you have?
Yeah. And by the way, we're going to have to do one of these podcasts at Sport Beach this year. So let's commit.
I love it.
Doing that, like we're going to create something special for the audience and do something live from
black tie. By the way, can it be tuxedos on the beach?
It comes well, and like I'll bring a speedboat or something to like have in the background. It's interesting. Like we knew that marketers wanted culture, not just cocktails, right? And what Sport Beach has done is like brought athletes, creators, and CMOs and their number twos and the CDOs together in a real way. Like it's not a panel, it's a playground, and we're expanding the idea, right? Like think of the beach more as a platform, not a place. This year it's living beyond Cannes. Like we're showing up where, brands and culture collide. So we showed up this year at CES. We had a really big presence at Super Bowl. We were at Davos. We were at South by, and we're going to
can't wear beach weather in Davos, but in Vegas you might be able to. CES, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little confusing because people were asking us like, wait, should I be wearing my flip-flops to the Sport Beach, in Vegas? But the idea is it's really a place where like brands and culture are able to collide with sport. And one of the things that when we set out to do, so we're on our third year, but one of the things that we were delighted and surprised with was how important it actually is for the athletes. Like originally, like we were thinking like this is a cultural move, but these athletes have realized that it's no longer okay just to do one thing, right? Like there is business after sport, and they haven't been trained on the business after sport, right? They have been so hyper focused on their career. So when I got like goosebumps, it's like introducing these athletes to these marketing teams and watching the synergies and the conversation happen. It's just like it's a really cool moment. It's good for all.
It's funny because I worked in professional sports for many years, and you would see the athletes in awe of like entertainers and entertainers in awe of athletes. And now marketing has become this third pillar where there is mutual appreciation, respect, and in many cases awe. And I think you guys are as responsible as anyone for helping facilitate that, but also innovate with that. So thank you. Keep doing it. I'm excited. Whatever we do, maybe yes, no, whatever together would be amazing.
The Thunderdome. So there's going to be a whole Thunderdome. We've got 2 big decks this year. We've got great athletes. So we're really, really excited about this year. We just did the math, and I think we're 35 business days away from getting on airplane. So we're in it right now.
I love it. Fun fact, by the way, 4 years ago, I hosted your executive team on my yacht And that was when your two events people, who are wonderful, amazing human beings, were like, we're just scouting out a site. So I was like, I
Oh no.
couldn't believe what, like, going from an executive like leadership thing on a boat to that. Like, it was so impressive. Anyway, that's my little fun fact about how I worked with you guys. So everyone's obviously talking about creator content, AI, retail media networks, still talking about crypto and blockchain. So the question here is,
Some of us are. Yeah, not all of us. Yeah.
so I know, seriously, I mean, from the SI, I know, but like, what is your philosophy on innovation and talking to your clients about this, balancing sort of the tried and true methods and approaches with sort of, funneling in like the newer buzzwords that your clients likely want to hear and learn about,
Yeah. That's a great question. I mean, real innovation like changes behavior, right? Everything else is just theater. Something that I
So
like to
true.
say is like, if you can't explain it in 60 seconds or less, like it's not real yet. And that's really like my test. And then also it's like, if you have people in the room or it's your team or if it's your clients that like roll their eyes when it comes up, it's probably a buzzword, right? Like what happened to this whole metaverse thing, right? Like we were all like all in on the metaverse, and I'm like, no, that's like Second Life, and we're avatars like running around, like yeah,
I mean, that could still happen. We may have just been early. I don't know, but we'll see.
yeah,
We'll see.
yeah. But I mean,
It's called gaming. It's called gaming.
by the way, everyone's a gamer, right?
Yeah. Do you my favorite thing to do when I was in the agency side of this industry was walk into a pitch and crush it and walk out with this like euphoric, just walking on air feeling. And
Yeah.
actually, Valerie and I are having our first ever pitch, which we'll talk about separately because maybe you could help us with some tips. This is kind of like a side project. We're creating a snarkumentary, but we'll talk about this separately. But is there a moment, a pitch line, a campaign zeitgeist experience you had that you still think about at 2 a.m. because it was like just that good that you're like, how can I recreate this if ever?
Oh gosh, that is a great question. I need to think about that a little bit. Like a
You've
great
probably had
pitch
many.
line.
That's the problem, right? It's like so many.
That is it. I remember one, and it was a breakthrough moment. Like we get really bad briefs, right? And I love our clients dearly, but there are some really, really bad briefs.
You can name names, actually. This is a safe space. Oh, wait, no, you probably shouldn't.
And it wasn't at Stagwell when I had this moment, but we were in a pretty powerful room with a technology company, and they were reviewing this really, really awful brief. And the founder of the agency that I'll just say his name because he's so fantastic. It was PJ Pereira, but I remember him like standing up and like cutting the client off and just saying like, can we just throw this brief out the window? Like, what is it that you really, really, really want? Because we can like go through this rhetoric like all the time, but I just need you to tell me what you really, really want. And the CMO said, I need my kid to think that our products are cool. Right. And it was just like this whole epiphany, right? And it was like, and this brief that they had given us was like 4 pages long of like all of this jargons. And so our teams were able to just like leave the room, right? And just say like, we've got the brief. Like he needs his kid that his products that he is marketing are cool, right? We not only won the business, right? But we ended up being part of their business for I think like 3 to 4 years. It was great. It was a great run. It was fantastic.
I mean, look, there are reasons why people like PJ and Andrew.
He's so great.
I shouldn't, distinguish.
Andrew as well.
Pereira and Odell. We can't separate them in our minds. But like, that is I don't want to age them either or age us, but that's like a generation of talent that defined and then maybe redefined things. And now this talent landscape is shifting, right? What are you seeing from this next generation of marketers? Are they really ready to lead yet? Or like, sometimes I feel like I have to still teach people what like a CPM is.
No, I think this next gen, and then when you're saying next generation of marketers, are you meaning like the level under the CMOs, or are we still chatting about, C-level executives, or maybe both?
Let's go below sea level now. We're below sea level,
Yeah.
not above sea level. We're dipping below.
I have an appreciation for a lot of, like, their jobs are hard. And I would say a couple of things. One, their teams are smaller than they've ever been, right? Like, they are so strapped for resources because budgets are tight and all of that. And so what I appreciate about like this next level of marketers is their challenge is really how to do more with less, right? And they're up against a lot of headwinds in the industry, but I think that challenges them to come up with really, really cool ideas, right? And not only are they having to do more with less, they're having to do it at like lightning speed, right? Especially with all of the AI and everything that's going on and stuff that's going on in macro, right? In our economy. Like, we've had several clients that because of the tariffs, they had to pull their brand campaigns, and if they have to pull their brand campaigns, what are they pivoting to? So they're not going dark, because if they go dark, they're going to lose market share. Right. And so I'm excited for the next level down of this generation, because I think when they get to the top, it's going to be transformative.
Do you, in your role, have you either taken pride or personally prioritized mentorship? I mean, that's a loaded term because everyone is a mentor when you have as much respect and esteem that you have deservedly earned.
Oh,
Like,
thank
do
you.
you enjoy it? Like, some people are like, got to do it, but these kids.
I wish I had more time with it. I have a couple really awesome young humans on my team, and I'm just grateful for them because they keep me young. I often ask them for advice on what to do on certain things because they've just grown up in a completely different generation than I have. But I wish I had more time too. It goes back to all of us just being so strapped for resources. But if I had like one wish that I could have as it relates to, my professional career, it'd be, to spend more time with those that need like the mentorship.
Going back to like the macro environment that we're sort of dealing with today, like do you have conversations set with clients around like how to address going, closer to performance driven, um, you know, types of campaigns versus really sticking to brand? Like, do you even differentiate between the two? Is it still like a solid balance? Like, how are you talking to them about how to be like kind of pivoting in their investments?
Yeah, it's not a one size fits all model, right? Like, every single client is very different, and it's different with their goals and again, like what's happening in the economy. So what we're recommending to our auto clients is very, very different than what we're having conversations with our spirit clients, right?
Hmm.
Um, you can't get rid of either of them though, right? Like,
Hmm.
there's times to dial up and dial down and, be on certain channels and in certain times. But um, and I would say our other like piece of advice right now is just test everything. Like, we have, clients that are like, no, we're just going to put this out in the world and see what happens. And I do love that sentiment, but
Hmm.
now is not the time in the North American market. Now is not the time to be doing that. Like, test your messaging, test every way you can, like make sure like your research firms are on top of everything, because one little small thing can just blow your business up.
I wanted to go back to something you said earlier about like how in a year from now, the AI landscape and the way we're using these tools and the way they'll be embedded is going to be totally different than what it is now. But I I am more personally and professionally on the technology side of this industry right now, and
Yeah.
thinking about how to work with brands, how to work with agencies, how to work with other partners in the ad tech, martech publishing space. And it's like everyone is attacking it and thinking about it, which is great. But there isn't yet this document that we all work off of that's just like, here's what you do and here's what we do. Within
Yeah.
your purview, within your either the areas and spheres that you can influence, are you seeing more build or buy or borrow or some combination thereof that is working, that will lead and that others should follow?
I mean, and there's a lot of building, right? And the building is happening really fast, right? And that's one of the things that I love about Stagwell. Like we have great people building great things right now that are going to be launched, this year. And so I do think that there's an aspect of building to it. I will say though that like there's also really great tools out there that we don't have to build, right? And so to your point about partners and collaboration and things like that, it's kind of taking like I always say there's a million ways to bake a chocolate chip cookie, right? And it's just taking like a little bit of the all of the ingredients that work to help to solve your business challenge. What I will say, and this is what I really appreciate about Anomaly in our portfolio, is like they always find a way to do something, and that way is new. And I think that that's a really important thing to take away for, some of these, agencies that haven't scaled their service offerings, right? That aren't reinventing themselves. Like the world is completely different. The agency landscape is like very, very different. And, if you're not innovating, you're dying. And so whether you're building, whether you're borrowing, whether you're buying it, my perspective on it is like you just need to be innovating, whichever one is going to work best for your business and whichever one is going to work best for the client's business. Like let the experts decide that, but there needs to be some type of innovation happening. And there are a lot of agencies out there that are still doing this strategy to, the brief to here's your PowerPoint presentation. We're coming back to PowerPoint. Here's your PowerPoint presentation. Which of these three ideas are you going to buy? Let's work with procurement and write the scope. And that just doesn't work anymore.
So like if you were to like suggest to brands out there listening to this podcast, like, what should they be thinking differently about? Like how should they be handling things moving forward when it comes to innovation, when it comes to the fact that the macro environment, particularly here in the US is off? Like what would be, a suggestion for them to how to like think differently?
Just write their RFP for them right now, please. This is
Yeah, I will. And that's actually the first thing is like, by the way, clients and procurement, like AI is responding to your RFI and RFP now. So it's not even like why are we even doing that? So we should start there because the AI is doing 90% of the writing, right? So let's rethink that. I mean, I would say, you need to have that clear brief. That brief should have an open-ended question in it, like how should AI be changing our business, right? Or how should technology be changing our business, right? And like actually get those thoughts that are coming back. But the whole pitch process needs to be blown up as well. And there's some brands that are doing it. We really appreciate here's our page, here's our brief on a page. We want to go out to dinner with you. And then come back and we're going to have a work session together and then we're going to make a decision. Like that seems more of like cut out. And then I get it. I have my love for procurement. Like I love procurement. I have a hat that says I love procurement, but they also need to evolve with what's kind of going on in our industry as well. Because Excel spreadsheets and rate cards and stuff like that is only making things worse.
Yeah, that's really shitty.
Yeah.
and where is that? Is that a llama piñata behind you?
It is a piñata. I was a piñata. So both my husband and I were piñatas for Halloween this year, and we walked around with piñatas. And for the adults, instead of candy, there was actually 1 ounce alcohol. And we were quite popular.
That's amazing.
I think we should all follow that. We should all RFP request for piñata behind us as we move forward.
I know.
Well, but I also don't want to beat any topic too hard, pun intended, as we move on. Here's what we're going to do. We like to end these conversations with the not so lightning round, but you're not prepared for these, although you're super prepared because of just who you are and what you've done and where you, how you've grown. But I want to challenge you to think as quickly without really thinking. Can we do that?
Okay. Let's go for it.
Okay. Biggest misconception about agency growth roles. Go.
People think it's just pitching and it's transactional.
So you want to actually have a relationship with procurement people, which is why you have the hat.
Yeah, it's about building, it's trust, it's relationships. You know,
Have you
it's the
ever worn
entire
the
path.
hat, by the way, to a procurement meeting, or is that to like
No,
wearing
so
the
we're
band
going,
concert?
no, I do. So I'm going to the ANA Financial Management Conference, which is all procurement. We have a massive karaoke party. So again, I say this with love to all my procurement friends, but they don't get out much. So when they start doing karaoke, one, they're insanely good. Like I'm afraid to actually get up on stage because for some reason
That's intimidating.
but they also like to have a couple cocktails, right? Because they don't get to do that often. Like they don't get to go to the fun stuff like the marketing team does. So no, but I do have a hat that says I love procurement, and then I have another one that says I love EBITDA. So it just depends. Like, am I talking to my CEO or am I with procurement?
And you got to tag them both to that ANA conference. And that may have just been the best sales pitch ever for an ANA finance conference. So there you go.
There you go. I know.
Okay, remember, I'm holding you to this. Name the
Okay.
Stagwell agency that you'd want to work with most in the trenches for just 1 month. No diplomacy, just like you're in the trenches, just pick one.
That is so hard.
Ooh,
I,
that's
oh,
so hard.
Oh, that's okay. So I can't just pick one, but I'm going to say because it depends on the situation. So anomaly, and it goes back to what I said because they always find a new way, right? Like there's always a new way. 72 and Sunny because of their
That's what I would have
commitment.
said.
Yeah, 72 and Sunny because of their commitment to optimism, right? And like they're just such positive people, and our jobs are so hard that it's just great being around people who are always, oh, this is great.
Is that real though? All
And
the
then
time they're always positive. That's legit?
it is
Oh,
legit. It is
Feels that
legit.
way.
I mean, it is
wow.
wonderful in every single meeting and everything, and that's their values that they have in there. And of course, we all get cranky, but for the most part, like they are really delightful humans to be around. And if I'm going to be in the trenches with someone sometimes, and then
I've tried
lastly,
to
I would
steal
just
people.
say,
I've tried. No, it's real.
I
Yeah.
know. And then I would just say Gail, and it's just because they're so intertwined in the client's business that you kind of like once you start with them, it's like you can't live without them. Like it's you just that. So I know that's three answers, but it's an honest answer.
No, that's okay. We again, there's no right or wrong answer here, but more macro. Let's look more macro. If you were
Okay.
crafting the 3 to 5 word pitch for Stagwell holistically, and we'll allow hyphens, but not corporate jargon. Give me your 5-word pitch.
5-word pitch.
And if it's 7, I'm not really counting. It's fine. But
I mean, this is like really hard.
That's really hard.
What I thought we were going to go with 3 words to describe Stagwell. You totally like bamboozled this.
I know.
Yeah, can I go to the 3 words to describe Stagwell?
Yes, fine. God, you guys, I was really trying to raise the bar here because Robyn has brought it, right? I don't want to follow the heat. I want to lead the heat, guys.
Challenger, accelerator, Goldilocks.
Okay, so I want to play a new game here that I just made up, but we're calling it overrated, underrated. Okay, very simple. Overrated or underrated for our industry. Award shows.
Overrated unless your clients are in the room.
Okay, good qualifier. In-house creative teams.
Underrated if they have the external partners who push them.
Okay. Client briefs over 10 pages.
Awful.
Okay, good.
Overrated.
Can yachts.
Overrated.
Definitely, thank you.
Definitely.
Can beaches.
Underrated and overrated. I think they're underrated if you're doing it right. I think it's overrated if you're doing it wrong.
Okay. So someone referenced a reality TV show earlier, but if you were going to create a Stagwell reality TV show about agency life, what would we call it? And yes, we can expect the drama, but like just what give me the summary.
The Matrix, would that be a good one?
Sure. Because you're either red pilling or blue pilling once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, you're red pilling. You're making these really tough decisions all the time, and you need to make them super, super fast. And because there's 85 agencies that you need to be thinking of and how they're all intertwined together, it's, it can be a little bit of a matrix.
And as Stagwell has become this powerhouse that we all just yearn to work with, and fewer get to work within and at, what is your secret, your lens for hiring people who just get it, the ones who can thrive in this fast-moving, multi-agency, untemplated
What is it, a quality you look for? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like who are the right people?
I think that, like, just in general, I've always looked for people who don't ask for permission; they ask for what's next. And I think that that's becoming more increasingly important. We're moving fast, and in order to move fast, you just need to make decisions. And then what's next? What's next?
Okay, perfect. So should I just send you my resume, or do you want to check out my LinkedIn profile? Or no,
both of you. We'd have so much fun.
We would. I don't know that we would be as productive and as efficient in terms of client deliverables because we'd be too distracted by our own snark. But
we wouldn't be making PowerPoints, that's for sure.
I love that.
By the way, someone sent me a PowerPoint. I don't even have PowerPoint on my computer, and I couldn't open it, and I sent it back. And this is someone that I'm like trying to woo. I was like, "Can you please resend this in another format?" And it was like the ballsiest thing I've done in a very long time. So there you go.
Wow.
Robyn, you know what you've done? You have led us in a way that is going to change behavior. So your definition of innovation, which I would have written down if I was not so enthralled by what you were saying. That is, by the way, of all the takeaways, like innovation that changes behavior, you've changed us. So thank you for this.
Thank you for having me.
No, it was our pleasure.
I think it's really exciting to see a company go through such significant growth over the last 4 years, 4 years. Really pretty insane. And I'm, congratulations.
And I can't think of anyone else who's actually done it the way you've done it, which is truly remarkable. And I'm not saying this to blow smoke. Like, it's
going to be super hard, but it must be really exciting. It's awesome.
It's really exciting. And what I will say is that much like Sport Beach, it's a team sport. We just have a really, really great leadership team at Stagwell. And for all of those people that are working and are in the trenches, and our agencies and the leaders are also, incredibly awesome. So we're on to something. We're not stopping. We're just speeding up, and we're excited to, both for what's next for Stagwell, but for also what's next for the industry. And we just hope that we're leading it and transforming it.
Love it.
Well, thank you, Robyn. Thank you for doing this with us here, and we will see you and talk to you soon.
Well, there you have it. Robyn Freye, a legend in the making. We'll see her on the beach in Cannes, and we'll see you next time for another episode of the Snarketing Podcast.